Wow, that actually just happened. Pinch yourself. You must be dreaming. No. That actually just happened. This is real life. James Harden and Joel Embiid balling out once again. Perfect. Man, oh man, the game just ended a few hours ago. You're getting my, reactions and takes after just kind of sitting, reflecting, thinking on it a little bit. And it's just like, it's still almost unbelievable, but it's now hit a point where it's sunk in. Like, we have to get used to this. We have to get used to James Harden step backs and Joel Embiid, James Harden pick and roll. It's cutthroat. And man, like, wow, like, they disheveled all those takes about it being a fluke, the first game, this and that. No, this is actually real life, man. And just a quick update, obviously we were live for the game. Shout out to everybody who came out and hung around for the game. It was a lot of fun. We'll be live for every game. And, obviously with the less news now, since the trade deadline's passed, we'll be covering anything else related to buyout, signing. We'll do some call-ins, collabs, all that. But it looks like we're going to have probably a post-game recap or something of that nature up the next day after the game. So definitely stay in tune with that. And we're covering this team from every angle. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It really helps out the family as we continue to go and grow. But man, just a couple hours ago, the Sixers go into the Garden. A weird Sunday 1 p.m. game. I knew it was going to be a bit of a struggle out of the two games because we play New York on Wednesday. But the Sixers come through late and they get it done 125-109. And, for the first time in a very long time, for once, it was weird. And I spoke of this out loud. I never thought in my mind that we were going to lose this game. It's weird. It was a very unusual feeling. Like, just having a calm demeanor come over me, because usually when I see Joel Embiid late in games and he's the only guy this year that can, go get us a big bucket, right? And he's, playing at an MVP level. And he's always looking locked in, right? Especially late in the game. It doesn't seem like anything really comes over him to kind of stir him away. But now I look at James Harden and he might even be more locked in terms of how he looks. He is stone cold, man. He can get you a bucket from any level on the floor. And then having James Harden and Joel Embiid, I never thought in my right mind, even though we struggled a bit, that we were going to lose this game. And I hope that I feel that way going forward, man. How about this stat line? Feast your eyes on it. It's real. James Harden posting a triple-double, 29, 16 assists, and 10 rebounds. His career high assist is 17. He's done that 9 times, I believe. And then Joel Embiid, 37 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 blocks, man. Like, what? 3 assists, a steal for Joel. How about Joel Embiid, 23 for 27 from the free throw line. His career high in free throw makes and attempts. How about James Harden, a solid 10 for 10 from the free throw line. Them two combined, I told you, teams are not going to like playing us, and every game it's going to be a hassle. This game felt like it was 10 hours long. Even fouls were going, the other way as well. I was surprised we got that many free throws in New York. But, man, it was just kind of one of those weird feeling games at 1 p.m. And I got to give the Knicks credit. They did show up. They played hard. They played with grit. They just didn't have enough to stop our guys in the late game situation. And I don't anticipate Wednesday being like this. I think we're going to have a pretty good crowd. Obviously, Harden's home debut. He said it even felt today like we were in Philly. But I think Wednesday's going to be a different story. And I was just proud of us finally being able to pull out a game and not having to go down to the last second and sweat it out. It was, absolutely amazing. And this was a tweet I put out earlier. Follow me on Twitter at RBPhillyTake. After 2 games now of James Harden, Joel Embiid, like I said, we threw all those lousy takes out. They have completely gotten rid of all this lousy talk about them not being able to fit together. They said James Harden was washed. They said James Harden could play defense. Yo, James Harden had 5 steals today. Okay, James Harden was everywhere. He did everything. These two played together today. And you want to know my number one take, man? And obviously I said there on the tweet, the scariest thing is that they haven't even clicked fully yet. This has been 2 games. My number one take from this game is that the offense looks so natural, and it looks like they have honestly been playing together for about 5 years. When in reality, they've been playing together for about a week and a half. James Harden, he had an interview just a little while ago, for his press conference. He said, I only even know a couple plays. I am winging it. I am winging it. And he's out here, just absolutely balling out. It's sensational. It really is. You take a disgruntled star in Brooklyn and whatever happened, this and that, right? Daryl Morey must be sitting back in his office, feet kicked up, just laughing like a maniac. He got rid of the headache of Ben Simmons and got James Harden in this tip-top shape. You can get rid of all those takes, and still the media pundits will still try to make some terrible, ridiculous case like I heard today. But at the end of the day, you just put the MVP of the league with one of the most lethal, skilled scorers ever, and you see the product. This is what Joel Embiid has needed his entire career. And when you give him a guy that can create his own shot from every level, I mean, we ran about 90% pick and roll today, which was just beauty to the eyes. And when you give him a guy like James Harden who can even step it back, and it's just, James Harden is a wizard, like in every single way. The way he's manipulating guys on the floor, he's looking this way, no look, the thigh ball cuts, he's bouncing it between three defenders. It's nuts what James Harden can do. And when you give that to Joel Embiid, you have just created an explosion. The league should be terrified. They should be watching the first two games of this and thinking, this is meshing like this in 2 games. Imagine what it's going to be like come playoff time. That's what I have to say about that. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and James Harden combined for 87 points. They combined for 89 last time. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I mean, it is so lethal. It is cutthroat. And you know what? We came out. We didn't even look that good in the first quarter. Once again, Tobias Harris was awful today, okay? He had 0 points up until halftime, and he only had, his first field goal made of the game in the fourth quarter. Tobias Harris, let this sink in. He had 0 points at halftime. The bench was not playing too hot. And the Sixers once again post a 65 spot in the first half, just like they did last game. That tells you all you need to know. We have a lot of scoring, and it's coming from everywhere, and teams can't stop it. This notion that I've talked about day in and day out now, you have to pick and choose. And honestly, it's a problem for opposing defenses that we luckily do not have to worry about. How do you pick and choose between James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey? How do you do it? I would love to know. Here's a quote from Joel Embiid when they asked him pretty much the same question, and I feel like I've stated this answer exactly how he said it. He said, you got to make a decision. Do you want to stay on me or do you stay on him? Talking about James Harden. And if you want to guard both of us with the other guys, now you have Matisse diving to the rim or wide open shooters. What do you do? What do you do? Here's the answer. You don't. You don't have anything to do. Joel Embiid, it looks flawless, running to the basket. He even threw down an oop today. He's running the pick and roll beautifully with James Harden. It is so seamless. Like I said, it looks like they've been doing it for years. And Harden's either hitting him with a little bounce pass. His vision is great. Or Harden's pulling up for a floater. Or he's just keeping it himself, taking his little step back and knocking down a big three. And then again, if you decide to pressure both of them and bring an extra man, you have Tyrese Maxey waiting in the flesh, ready to cut to the basket. Tyrese Maxey had 21 today, 8 for 14 from the field, 3 for 5 from deep. The shot looks more confident. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. You pair that with James Harden's triple-double, a triple-double in his second game as a Sixer, breaking all kinds of records, by the way. First guy to ever have 25, 10, 5, and 5 in a game in this franchise's history. This is game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it is looking scary. It is looking scary with the version of James Harden that we had. Matisse Thybulle had 8 points today. He was the only starter not in double digits, and Thybulle looked good. He was cutting to the basket, finding ways to get creative on offense, playing great D. How about the defense? You know, it came out really lackluster in the first quarter. The Knicks were playing. They were up, right? And then in the second and third quarters, I saw this look in Tyrese Maxey's eyes. He really locked in. Thybulle locked in. These guys looked ready to go. Harden had 5 steals. And Embiid had 2 late blocks that were just magnificent. And really just the takeaways for me is just how Harden is manipulating the floor. We have a set offense now. Like I said, Harden masks all these deficiencies we had. I feel like the Sixers are playing 10 times faster than I've ever seen them play in the last 3 years. Ben was a great facilitator in transition. Harden may even be a better facilitator in transition. And the thing about Harden is that he is such a good facilitator in the half court. Once again, not forcing shots, not dribbling 50 times, isoing this, and that. No, He is running all pick and roll with Joel, and it is literally unstoppable because, again, back to the main theme, defenses have to pick and choose, and you got Maxey who's lightning quick if you had to dish it to him. Tobias didn't even contribute. If Tobias can get to a point where he's giving us 15 a game, I mean, this is going to be scary. Now, again, there were things that we have to work on from today. Our rebounding, I thought, was bad. We have to definitely crash the boards more. We have to play up, stay up the whole game, right? But we've been playing down the comp this year, and we did at points in this game. Doc Rivers, I thought his lineups were pretty good again, except for the one, which he kept in for a total of about 10 minutes. He used it twice. It was the lineup of Niang, Danny Green, and Furkan. I thought there was not enough speed on the floor. There was not enough size. We can't go back to that lineup. Furkan looks almost unplayable at this point. And I would really like, another shooter, another wing or something off the bench. But the buyout deadlines tomorrow, the market is just not that strong. So, I mean, it's not dense. We're going to have to roll with what we have most likely, and hopefully guys step up. But with how we can stagger the lineups now, I think that'll help, take some of the relief off of that there. And who knows, man? It's going to be interesting. We still may need some more depth. But look, man, the Sixers are rocking and rolling. Everything clicked once again. It meshed, and it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. Niang had a couple big threes off the bench. Overall, Millsap had 6. Other than that, I mean, nobody was really playing much. We need to see other guys get some run. We need to see Isaiah Joe get some burn. He has to be better than Furkan. I'm not trying to downplay Furkan. I'm so happy with this win. I'm happy with how it's looking. Like I said, it hasn't clicked yet. But Furkan airballed a shot by about 6 feet today. And that can't happen. That cannot happen. You can't keep getting that run. But for some reason, Doc Rivers loves him. But we'll have to see. We'll have to make those adjustments as we go. Look, man, here's a quote from James Harden about his body, and this just speaks to so many volumes as a leader. And I just love, Harden is saying all the right things, and I'm happy about it. He said, I know my body. I love to play ball. Don't ever get that twisted. It was definitely difficult the last year and a half to be missing all the games, but I love to be on this damn court. Go listen to that clip. It's about 2 minutes long, and it was amazing, man. It really was beautiful. James Harden, like I said, just winging things at this point. He's just winging it. He's not integrated yet. He's not integrated yet, and it looks this good. It's this polished. It's almost unreal. It's almost like James Harden has never had a player to compliment him like Joel Embiid, and Joel has never had the perfect compliment like James Harden. Now you put them two together, and it's already looking and working like this. And again, we should have probably extended this lead more. We still have to work on some things. Our perimeter defense, we got to stay in front of guys. I mean, Joel Embiid fouled out both of the Knicks centers in the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's how dominant it can be. Teams are not going to like playing us. We're going to have a lot of free throws. It just is what it is. That is the nature. And some people keep trying to say that, James Harden is great in the regular season. We get to the playoffs. Let me tell you something, okay? Here's the short answer to that. James Harden has never had a player like Joel Embiid. You'll see what it looks like in a playoff series. It's going to look like this. James Harden has had to rely on 50 dribbles back and forth and this and that. So when his shot wasn't going, well, there wasn't much for him to do. Now he's upgraded his game. And like I said, I was right about this. So were you. James Harden adapted his game. He was the guy, especially when you look at the guys in Brooklyn, that was willing to adapt his game. And he just continues to do it. He's not forcing anything. He's being a great teammate, and he just continues to ball out. And it's exciting. There's a new life. There's a new blood. And with how the East looks right now, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but this Sixers team can be deadly, man. And this is the start of an era. It really, really, really is. Joel Embiid is averaging .35 free throws per minute. So like I said, teams are not going to want to play us. And people are complaining about Embiid's free throws. Obviously, the people that never watched a game of Sixers in their life. And like Drew Hanlon says, he's unguardable. He's unguardable. James Harden says we're confident with the group we have, and he's looking forward to Wednesday. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a wild home opener once again against the Knicks. I anticipate that going a little bit different. The Sixers only shot 30% today from deep, man. They only shot 30%. Like I said last game, we're not going to shoot 40% every game, yet we still won. Yet we still separated late in the game. This team, this duo, is one of the most lethal duos I've seen in a while. Then you add Tyrese. This trio, this backcourt, they are going to be very scary. The league should be crawled up in a ball, worried about this team. They will see in time. They will see in time, man. What a game. Highlight play after highlight play. James Harden with his first triple-double as a Sixer. Joel Embiid balls out again. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Like always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.